Do you believe what you know? Hello guys, what up, what up, what up, what up? Do you believe that love? I can feel something. Yeah, so what's up? Hope you guys are doing well. Today we are going to be making this shipping container in Blender. Let me put on some music here so that it's not too quiet. Okay. Yeah. Hello? Hello? Okay. Let me get closer to the mic and see what we are doing. Okay. I'll split this view and change this to UV image. Ah, and I think we can use this image here in the reference images. In the background, something like that. So we can scale this to that size and something like that. Now if we go to front view and scale this in the y direction to something like that. I need to make some changes to my keys here. interface. 3D view. Rotate view. I don't like using the mouse wheel, so let me see if I can find that setting. Orbit view, not this. Let me first figure out this and then I can start streaming. Hello Wolf, what's up? How are you doing, man? Yeah, I'm sorry I went off there. I had to change some settings here because I just installed a new version of Windows and yes, I had to reconfigure my setup. But hope you guys are doing great. And today we're going to make this shipping container. I think we can begin now. So we already have this. You can start adding these. I don't know how to call them, but we can create a profile for that we will use in the booleans. So we can do something like this. Something like that. Extrude that in the Z direction like that. And we can bring this around here. And around something like that. Let's give it a viewport color. Maybe let me first change a few things here. Add some ambient occlusion so that we can see what we are doing here better. So I'll just go to modifiers, add a boolean modifier, and select okay, everything looks good, and select this as our modifier. Change this to difference. To see what we're doing, we can go to the object settings and change to wire. Let's see. Let me and now we can scale this down like that. Move this in like that, and we can add, let's first apply the scale on this, and we can add an array in the Y direction. something like that. Let's increase the count. Now we can also come to this, add a loop here, and remove these edges this side, and add a mirror modifier. See what we have there. Can increase the count for these. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream, and yeah, welcome for everyone who is here. Thank you for being here. Wolf, again, thank you, and hope you're doing great. So let's see. So we have that. I don't know. Let's see. Should we? Let's see if we, because I can see these I don't know how to call them, impressions don't go all the way to the top, so we can scale this down a bit like this. And move it somewhere there. So we have a container that looks like this, and I think we can apply the boolean modifier right now. So we can select this and then apply boolean, and we can move this to a different layer. If we want to use it again, we can just come to that. And again, to make this simple, I will add a loop. Let's see, add a cut there, and make sure this is in the middle. It is. Wait, and add a loop cut there again. Join at the top that vertex to that, and you can come in, select everything, select all the vertices on the top side. I'm not sure why it's only selecting the top vertices. Okay, select all the vertices, can there, and delete faces. So we have that portion like that, and we can mirror this also in the y direction like that. From there, I think we can add these kind of hinging points. Yeah, what's your time there, Wolf? What's the time where you are right now? Because for me it's 6 a.m. It's pretty early in the morning for me. So we have that. Let me reduce this sound. We have that. Brazil, nice. 12 a.m. Nice. I think we can select these vertices here. bring this loop around there. I want to see. Okay, I'm not sure. Not sure why I can't move this. I'm forgetting the keys to move this image. But let's see. Let's close in to this loop here. I think we need to, let me see how we can do this. So if we select this loop here, maybe add a loop here and add another one to the bottom like that. Maybe even just add a loop around there. Connect this to that with J. I can extrude that in around there. So we can come in and remove this. Hello, Paul Saints. How are you doing? Viewport. I'm not in Blender Eve. I'm not in Blender 2.8. I'm in Blender 2.79. Yeah. Sometimes because what I'm doing now, I'm creating a model that I'm hoping to sell on CG Trader, and I usually don't want to make models in Blender 2.8 because it's still in beta version, and it usually crashes. And when you export a project from Blender 2.8, it doesn't work in any previous versions of Blender, at least for now. And I don't think it's going to be changed after, because this Blender 2.7 9 is totally different from Blender 2.8. How the different renders that are there, because there are two. There is Blender Cycles and Blender Eve. And in Blender 2.7, that is not there. So whenever you try to export a project from Blender 2.8 to Blender 2.7.9, it will crash because I think, to my understanding, it crashes because it can't find some of those render settings and other things that are available in Blender 2.8. So obviously the application won't be able to handle that. It won't know what to do with those things that are not available in Blender 2.8. In Blender 2.7, sorry. I'm supposed to just looking for forgetting everything. Models, CG Trader, container. So whenever I'm trying to make models that I'm going to sell on CG Trader or TurboSquid, I usually avoid using Blender 2.8 because you never know what the client or buyer is going to use your models for, in what version of Blender they're going to be using the models in, and you want it to be very easy for them to use your models. So you want to go with the application that is most supported right now, and right now it is Blender 2.79 or the Blender 2.7 series that are most supported. So we have, I think, that done. So let's see. I think we can select this. And you can add a loop here. Join this vertex with this, hit J to connect that, and we should be able, I don't know, I should maybe just merge this to that. so that I'm able to add a loop that goes through from here to the top here. Right now, what is stopping that is we need a loop here so that we can join that vertex to that, and now I think we can, yeah, we can do that. But we also need this to be straight like that. So what I want to do is select this. I don't know, let me add a loop here. I'll make sure that is straight like that. Select. I'm curious to anyone watching, what do you use Blender for mostly? Because for me, I'm trying to just make a few extra bucks from doing this from Blender. I'm a web developer. That's where most of my income comes from, and but I want to switch it up a bit because I love making 3D models, and I thought maybe if I could do 3D modeling while making a few extra cash from it, that would be much better, and it would be a good motivation for me to continue learning Blender or 3D modeling, because if money is involved, you can bet there's always motivation to do something when there is money involved. And so yeah, I do also do it because I love it, but if it can help me pay some bills, that is even much better. And it does help me pay some bills because right now my internet, how did this come about? I'm not sure. So because right now my internet cost per month is about $100 unlimited internet at I think it's about 7 MBs per second, Mbps, and I'm paying that through my Blender so I'm paying that using the money I get from CG Trader. So it's not a lot, $100 a month. Actually, it's not. It's good money. I mean, I'm just making these models and then putting them up, and people buy them without me doing anything more than just uploading them. Because even when I wasn't making money from it, I would still be making these models. So if I can make money from it as well, just doing is my hobby, that makes it even much better. Yes, so we have that, and I think we can, let's see. I'm not sure if I should keep this loop here. Okay, I should. I think I just need to decide how I'm supposed to approach this so we can get this. Let's make sure to apply the rotation and scale. Let me put back some music here. I'm always curious on how other people use the same applications I use, and if they are making some money from that. I'm always curious on how they do it. So that's why I'm trying to share. I'm always trying to share how I do my own things, mostly financially, how I try to support myself. Uh, for this here, let's just create a cube, scale it down in the y-axis like this, and you can see it's rounded, so we can add, let's say, a loop here, scale it in the y-axis, then Control B to bevel that. So we have something like that. Maybe even not that. Let's select these edges. Make sure we apply scale and rotation, and then Control B. And do that. Now we can select these, add a Boolean modifier. Again, I thank everyone and appreciate everyone who is liking and watching. Really appreciate it. So difference, we can change this from texture to wire, just so that we can see that. We can also go to edit mode, Shift D, rotate 90 degrees, rotate 90 degrees, and bring that to this side around there. And I think there's also a hole to the top there, so we can also Shift D, duplicate, rotate this in the X direction 90 degrees, and we just need to center this. I think this is supposed to be much larger than that, so we can do that. I'm trying to change the 3D Max to Blender, but it's hard. Yes, Blender is a bit hard to learn, but when you get used to it, it's kind of fun, and the community is very great. It's very awesome, because there's a lot of free tutorials for Blender than there is for 3D Max, and plus the application is free. You don't have to pay. I think around, is it? I'm not even sure how much 3D Max is. Let me see. Look at this. 3ds Max. It's quite expensive, and you can't buy the application anymore. You can't buy it. How is it called? Yeah, you can't own the application anymore. You have to buy a subscription for it. So I'm not even sure where their money. Yeah, look at this. This is a lot of money for just using the application on a monthly basis. You're actually paying this per year, not even buying the application for lifetime use. So it's ridiculous. You can't pay this much money. I mean, if you use this if you use 3D Max for about 5 years, you're paying around. I'm not even sure how to do the math here. Let me see. Let me get a calculator here. I don't know what your financial standings are, but I think that's still a lot of money for a lot of people. So so for 5 years you're spending around 70K. It might not look that much, but if you're just learning and you're not making money from this yet, I wouldn't advise for anyone to go for that. And the good thing about 3D applications is that if you learn the concepts, you can apply them to any other application. So it doesn't matter if you start in Blender, you can always switch to any other application you want. If you start in 3D Max, you can always switch to another 3D application if you want to do that. So so that's why I would advise anyone learning, they can start with something that is free and then upgrade when when they have started making some money. So let's hide this and can select wolf. I don't know if you're trying to be sarcastic, but yeah, a blender is in English. Uh, is what is going on here? I think let me remove doubles. Select face. I'm glad that my channel is helping you. I mean, that's why I make it, so that it can help a few people there, because I also learned and still learning from online tutorials, mostly free online tutorials, YouTube tutorials. So if mine are also helping out someone, I think that's like giving back to the community that has helped me so much. So just select this loop here, drag that up to around there. I don't want to spend too much time on this part here because it won't be even visible to the camera that much. The inside parts won't be that visible to the camera, so I don't want to dwell on them. So hello Galax, how are you doing? Let's see. And also, I think there's a lot of vertices here, so I'm going to remove some of them, doing that to that. So we are losing the shape, so we have that. I also think the top is the same, so there is some kind of symmetry to, I don't know. So this is supposed to be done to the bottom as well, but I don't feel like doing the same thing to the bottom here, so I'll just delete everything from the bottom here. Okay, so we have a few problems. We can cut, join this vertex to that using J. Let's see, what am I doing? Maybe just cut a loop from there to there. And I think we need to come in and fix a few things here. So fix a few of those vertices. Like that. Remove any doubles. And we can now delete this bottom part. That. Think there are a few extra loops that we don't need, so like this loop here, it's not necessary, so we can also remove that, remove that, remove that, remove that. Just delete those vertices. Now we can add the mirror in the Z direction. So we have that. And I think now is a good time to add the bevel modifier. You can see, so that we have that kind of non-sharp edges, a bit rounded edges. And let's see if we increase these segments. I think that's good. Okay. You can also join these vertices here. Okay, we have that. Let me move this to the top like that. I think also this protrudes out a bit more, so let's see how we can approach that. This face here, this loop from here to here, let's make sure that this bottom line here is a straight line. So, and now we can select this loop maybe up to here and extrude it to the front, something like that. And we can select these here, delete faces, and we can just fill that with that, and that with that, to have that. Okay, for the bottom, maybe before we get to that, because there is a mirror modifier, let's first work on other things like these hinges. For that, we just need a boolean, so just select these. Okay, before we do that, I think we need to extrude this out a bit, so something like that. And let's see here, we need to delete that face and this face here, this face here. Then join this with that, this with that, and let's see. We also have can join that to that. I also think this protrudes out, so we can add a loop here. Then select this portion here and extrude up a bit like that. Now I think if we added a loop around there, we can bevel this like that, and I think we can let's see if we insert this, what happens. I think we can insert that like that and delete those faces, and now we can select this vertex and this and this, bridge that, select this with this, bridge that, and that with that. Can add another loop around here. If you want, you can just bevel this only, so that we don't have a lot of resolution, a lot of unnecessary vertices going through the entire mesh like we did here. So we can now select this face here up to here, then hit I to insert, delete those faces, and then we can now connect that with that, bridge that and that. So we have that now. So for the top here, the top part here, I don't know if that is supposed to be flat or okay, they are supposed to be the same hinges or whatever. So for that, we can bring this profile again, maybe turn off bevel, rotate this 90 degrees, negative 90 degrees, and it should start from this. So let's select this, add a boolean, then select that there, change from intersect to difference. I don't know why they don't use difference as the default setting. So you just need that. Let's make sure that it's in the center like that. Now we can also, let's make sure that these aligning with this. So let's apply the boolean. Okay, I'm not sure why it's doing intersect instead. Oh. Let's turn off the mirror modifier for now. Scale is in the Y, because I think that is why we were having that issue there. So then we can apply the boolean, and then we can hide that mesh, and we can turn on mirror modifier again. Select these faces, delete them, select this edge, delete that edge. Okay, so let's see. Just need to make sure you have clipping on, turned on. Bring back the music. Select these vertices, push them so that they are clipping with that, and now we can select these. Okay, let's first remove doubles. Not sure what is going on here. Let's first remove mirrors. Okay, so we have a problem, and that problem is coming from somewhere, is originating from somewhere here. So what we can do is select the vertices here, scale them in the x-axis, so that is just one loop like that, and then remove any doubles, and we can delete the vertices here, and then select this entire loop, maybe from make that, and then just extrude that, and we can turn on mirror modifier, and we have, okay, maybe not exactly what I expected. Let's see what's going on here. If we delete those vertices, oh, I see, it's exactly what we had to do. So we need to scale these in the x direction, then remove any doubles, and let's see if we delete these vertices, what happened? That happens. So we can delete these vertices, and remain with this here. So what we want to do is select that loop like that, and deselect these here, and then let's see, then extrude that like that. Then we can read that, then join that like that, and we are good to go. So we are just remaining with this door, and we should be good to go. So for the door, I think it's supposed to be a separate object, but since we already have this setup, so the door will be going from here to around here. So we can select this mesh here, hit P on your keyboard, hit Y, sorry, and then P. Have that. Now let's remove any unnecessary loops, so that, join that in the center, and we have that. Now we can come in, bring our profiles. This same, let's first apply the mirror modifier. Make sure we remove any doubles and any loops that, let's see, we need to merge this with this. And I think we can remove this side for now, because it's a single door that hinges. No, it's not a single door, it's double doors that hinges to the to this side, so this side can be just mirrored. So we need to rotate this 90 degrees. Do that like that. Select this, add a boolean. Select this. So if we change this to difference, we have that. We just have holes like that, but we need to move this to around there and reduce the number of counts to 3 and increase the spacing between each, maybe not by that much. So this is supposed to be in the middle, like here. And just to remove those space, we can select this, then extrude it inside like that, and we will have that. I think we can pull this back a bit to around there. I also think these are supposed to be bigger, so we can scale them in the Y direction like that, maybe even more like that, maybe even more like that. Reduce the distance between them, the separate distance, separation, the separation distance like that, and maybe scale them like that, and then we can apply the boolean and hide that. So we don't need this side here yet, so we can just delete that and have something like that. We also don't need this back side yet. Okay, so it seems we need a loop here and a loop here, and make sure that they're at the same level with these vertices here. So scale them in the Y axis like that, and then you can join these to that, and these to that, these to that, this to that, and then select this loop, remove doubles. I think you can add, I think this here is pushed in a bit, so let me show you what I mean. If we select these faces here, see if we can push them inside like that to have that. And I think that's enough detail for that. And now for the hinges, we just need to add a plane. Like that. and I think we can extrude that, Control N, then add a loop here, scale that in that direction like that, and if we want we can bevel this to make it more rounded like so. So can also come in here like that. Yeah, I think it's a straight cut because I don't own it. I don't have a cut. It's a straight cut. I don't have. I'm surprised you can even hear that. You must really have good ears. So let's add loop. I'm really adding a lot of details here. I'm not sure if they are even necessary. So, but you see, you just need to duplicate this. Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, and now we can join them to the door like that. And there's some kind of padding here, rubber padding, so we can, for that we can let's see. Actually, for that to be there, there needs to be a gap between the door around there, something like that, and the bottom here, and between the two doors like that. And for that we can create what would be the profile of that padding. So we can select, do something like this, add a loop here, Control B, then add a loop there, push that outside like that, and then Control B. That would be the profile of our padding. Okay, so I don't know, maybe you can also make it rounded like that, and now we can rotate it 90 degrees to fit that gap there. So it would be something like that. Now we can extrude this make it smooth. Let's recalculate the normals. And when it comes to this side here, instead of rotating like this, because you see when you rotate, these vertices, these edges here become squished, like you see there, because you see it becomes smaller this side and then larger this side. So instead of doing that, you just use the shortcut Control Alt Shift S, which is the sickest shortcut in any application, and then you will just be doing a shear like that, which keeps the vertices the same in the same line. So then you can push this around there and then extrude down like that. So Control and 0 0, and now we can do Shift D to duplicate and then mirror that. Mirror your selection, Control aim in the Z direction like that. And move this to the bottom, and we can merge these two by removing any doubles. Remove doubles and remove the face that is between those two vertices, and we have, you can also remove the face that is there and the one that is there. Let's recalculate normals. We can go to the viewport, to the materials, add a new material. We can call this rubber, if I can spell rubber. And in the viewport, in the settings, we can come and add, where is this? I'll make sure you are in cycles render. Use nodes, settings, viewport. We just give it that color, and the doors will have a different color like that, and the container can have its own material as well. Something like that. Now that we have the door finished, I think we can merge the rubber thingy with the door. So Control J to merge that, and we can mirror that. Actually, we don't have to mirror that. We should mirror that. Add a mirror modifier. And maybe let's add a small separation between these two. I think this profile is a bit too big, so I can scale it down just a bit like that, and then push these apart, so we have them looking like that. And we can also mirror this in the Y direction. So we have that, and then apply the mirror modifier. After applying the mirror modifier, we can select this front side, and then separate it from the behind part, behind both doors. And you can also select this and this, everything this side, Control L, then separate it from the front side, and you can select this here, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then origin to 3D cursor. Do the same thing here, Shift S, cursor to selected, origin to 3D cursor, Now if you want to open these, you can easily open them like that. Now we can work on these pipes. They shouldn't be that hard, so maybe before we do those, we need to add those, I don't know, all those things that hold them together. So we can add a loop here, we can add a loop here, we can add a loop. Let's see. We can select this here, these two, Control B, and we can merge these to the last. And maybe add a loop here, then bevel these as well, Control B, and what we need, we can also add a loop there, add a loop there, and then we can bevel these. I just want to minimize the number of vertices we are using, so I don't want to add extra vertices. So we can do this, move this like that with that, and this with that, maybe even with this. So everything would depend on how detailed you want to be when it comes to making this. Now we can add this here. We can just use a cylinder with, let's say, 8 vertices and a radius of that, around that. You can select these top vertices, bring them to around there, grab these, push them to the bottom, and we can add a loop here. Select this here, and we can select this face here. Also, we need to push this, maybe scale this down a bit like that, and get this loop. I think we also need to add a loop in the middle of this. Select these bottom parts, Shift S, cursor to selected, Control Alt Shift S, Control Alt Shift C. Let's first Control Alt Shift C, origin to 3D cursor, not in edit mode. Shift S, Control Alt C, then mirror modifier in the Z direction like that. Let's apply rotation and scale. Select this, extrude in the X and Y plane. Add a loop here. We can Control B to bevel that, scale that in the Z direction to around there. E to extrude, scale in the Z and Y plane to have that. And we can go in and add a circle aligned to view. I'll give it 8 vertices. Scale it down. These are going to be those nuts or bolts you see there. So extrude, merge to the center, select the outer loop, push it outside like that, and select this, push it out like that. So we have that. Control L. Now we can move this to around here. And Shift D to around there. I think this entire part is around here. Also maybe push this up. I think we also need a loop around here and a loop around there. Select those loops, Control B, then E to extrude, and then scale them out to something like that. We need to select these two, Control L, push them down like that, and then we need to select to select something like this face here, extrude in this direction and push it like that. Select this, extrude around there and push it down like that, and then select our nut, Shift D, and maybe these are a bit bigger, so we can the bigger nuts. And Shift D, X, Control M, X. Recalculate, and we have something like that. If you want, you can also add a loop here and add a loop here. Select these two loops. No, that's not a duck, that's a bird, man. It's a crow, I think. It's a crow. We have a tree behind our house, so they usually come around. Those dark crows, the ones like you see in Game of Thrones. Yeah, I would love to have a duck someday, maybe as well too. Extrude this out. Yeah, a lot of animals come around our house. Ducks, no ducks, but crows. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can even see a parrot. And we just need, okay, we also need to make as said for the bottom part here. You can come add a loop here, Control B, extrude in that direction, Control R, Control B, extrude in the Y, in the X. You can select these push it down a bit like that. And select this here. Shift D. I think that's enough detail. Maybe not. Let's add a loop here. Control B. Select these and these. Extrude in the Z. Scale in the Z like that. We can change the pivot point to individual origins. Scale that in the Y direction, and we can select this slope here up to here, extrude out like that to have that. I think that's enough details for now. So we just need to add an array in the negative direction to around that, maybe. And now we can parent this to the door like that. Control P. Make an instance of this out D, move it to here, mirror this in the X direction, you know what, I think what we need to do is join this to the door, not parent it. So Control P. Make sure, let's first apply the mirror modifier. Do we have a mirror modifier? Let's apply the mirror modifier and let's delete this. Apply the mirror modifier, apply the array, and join this to this. Maybe let's first give it a different material. It's better if we unwrap this, so let's just use smart unwrapping. Smart UV unwrapping, and let's join this. Let's give it a new material, bars, and let's give this a different color. Let's try that and join these to that. Control J, something like that, and we can link this to this. So Control M, Control is it Control? I'm not sure. Control A, Control. there's a way to link this to this. Control U, no. So if we go to object and make, is it Control C? No, you can just delete that. Alt D, Control M to mirror that in the X direction. Push it. To the back like that. You can also do the same this side, just delete this. Alt D. Mirror that side. And we have ourselves a container. We just need to add these other things here. So we can go to this, apply the mirror modifier. Before we do that, I think we can clean this up a bit. In areas where we don't need those extra edge loops, so something like this, we can merge this to that and delete that edge loop. Same here. We don't need this vertex. Same here, we don't need this loop here, so we can just join this to this. Alt M. Select that, deselect that, and then join that to that. I'm not sure we need this either, so we can select, join this to that, and this to that. Same with this, we can select these and join them to that last. Select that, this loop, dissolve, select this loop, dissolve. Merge this with that, merge this with that, and merge this with that, and that. Just come in, and we have that for this loop here. I think that's okay. We could reduce these vertices as well, so maybe make this in the center. also a mess here, so I don't know, we can, and it's okay. I will apply the mirror modifier here. Okay, maybe not yet. We need to make sure that there are no vertices that are going through each other before we apply that mirror modifier. So this, then we can apply now to have that. Now we just need to come and make cuts here. So you can just get a cube, scale it down like this, push it in around there, select this, add a boolean, select this, change to difference, maybe we did this a bit early, so let's undo this. So we only need these cuts to the bottom, so we can, let's see, which one is it? Okay, we can remove this, add another mirror modifier, and this time for only the Z direction. Yeah. So we need that mirror. We need this mirror. What we want to apply is a top, is this top and bottom mirror modifier. So apply that. And now we can come in, add a cube, then add a boolean, select this here, change to difference, and we can select this, go to object data, change this to Y so that we can see what we are doing. And let's see, we need to make sure that this boolean is above the mirror so that we have something like that. And so this will also be reflected to the back side like that. Now we can also delete, go to edit mode, duplicate this, move this to around here, scale that in the Y direction like that. To have that. But I think before we do that, before we do the boolean, so let's first disable this. We need to add the inset that you see there. So we can select this face here and this inset that like that. Make inset, what's going on. And we can just select this loop here, add, subdivide that, then bevel this. We can connect these vertices like this. Then we can select these here, insert. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So what we can do is subdivide this or push this. Let's subdivide this, maybe merge this. Okay, let's just select this face and this, and then extrude to the inside. Okay, I'm not, let's remove doubles and see. Select this face and delete that, so we have something like that. Now that we have that, we can come in and turn on the boolean. The boolean. I'm not sure why there is a gap there. Okay, I think I know why that is. So, apply. And we can delete these cubes now. Then we can first, let's remove any doubles. Nothing there. Then we can join this with this. Dissolve. I think we can I think that's it. So that's our container. I'm a bit tired, so I won't do the texturing today. Yeah, that's how you make a container in Blender. Can turn on the bevel again. Can make this open up. Yes, thank you for watching. Thank everyone who liked, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.